Hi guys, this is Mrs. Hain reading your science test to you today. I'm going to read all the questions and all of the answers. Just remember that you can hit pause at any time to give yourself more time to think about the question and answer before you answer the question. Let's get started. Question number 1. The diagram below shows the feeding relationship between populations of organisms in an area. The arrows point from the organism being eaten to the organism that eats them. In the diagram, we have grass, which is eaten by grasshoppers, which are eaten by frogs. Think about this relationship when answering the following questions. A. Using only the relationships between the organisms shown in the diagram, choose from the following statements to predict the effects on the number of frogs if most of the grass is killed. So if the grass is killed, what happens to the frog population? Number 1, the number of frogs will increase. Number 2, the number of frogs will decrease. Number 3, the number of frogs will not change. 1b. Below, explain what would cause the effect on frogs you have predicted. Be sure to include grass, grasshoppers, and frogs in your explanation. Number 2. Which of the statements below best describes all invasive species? Choose one. Invasive species, A, can be either native or non-native. B, always grow and reproduce more quickly than native species. C, are non-native and always cause economic or ecological damage. Or D, never have natural predators outside their native region. On the next page, I'm going to read this little story to you and then we'll talk about the diagram. A national park is home to large populations of mountain lions, deer, rabbits, and plants. Recently, the Park Service decided to bring wolves back to the ecosystem where they once lived. Mountain lions and wolves both eat deer and rabbits. Deer and rabbits both eat plants. Mountain lions and wolves usually do not prey on each other. These interactions are shown in the diagram below. So remember that the arrows go to the animal receiving the energy. So use this diagram to answer the following questions. Number 3. Using only the relationship between the plants and animals shown in the diagram, answer the questions below. A. Before wolves were brought back to the ecosystem, which of the following could cause the number of rabbits to decrease? 1. Both the number of the mountain lions and the availability of plants can cause a change in the population of rabbits. 2. The number of mountain lions can cause a change in the population of rabbits, but the availability of plants cannot. 3. The availability of plants can cause a change in the population of rabbits, but the number of mountain lions cannot. Or 4. Neither the number of mountain lions or the availability of plants can cause the change in the population of rabbits. 3b. If the number of deer and rabbit eaten by mountain lions stays the same, what will happen to the plants after the wolves are introduced? 1. The amount of plants will increase. 2. The amount of plants will stay the same. 3. The amount of plants will decrease until it is all gone. Or 4. The amount of plants will decrease, but some will remain. On to the next page. A lemming is a small herbivore. Weasels are carnivores that are often predators of lemmings. The data below were collected in Greenland, where the lemming is an important food source for weasels. So if you look at the diagram, the weasel is the predator, the lemming is the prey. Along the bottom of the graph, the year is 1988 to 2002. Along the left-hand side of the graph, the number of animals per area of land. If you look at the key, the lemming, which is the prey, is the solid line with the black squares. The weasel, which is the predator, is the dotted line with the circles. Use this information to answer the following questions. Number 4. The graph below shows the number of lemmings and weasels in the study area from 1988 to 2002. In 1988, 1992, 1996, and 2000, the population of lemmings began to increase. What pattern in the weasel population begins during each of the years that follow? 4b. Did the lemming population begin to increase, decrease, or stay the same in 1990? C. What pattern in the weasel population begins during the following year? D. List another year when a similar pattern in lemming and weasel populations was observed. E. Based on the information provided above, complete the claim below to describe what is causing the patterns in weasel populations observed. Then, complete your scientific explanation by supporting your claim with evidence and reasoning. So 1, the claim. The changes in weasel population size were caused by. You need to finish that sentence. Number 2, evidence. Provide the data that can be used to support your claim. Get some information from the graph. Number 3, the reasoning. Use scientific concepts to describe how the evidence supports your claim. On to the next page. Number 5. While discussing changes to Michigan's ecosystem, a person on the news made the following claim. Small changes in an ecosystem, such as introducing a new species, a small decrease in the population of a native species, or a snowy winter, are too small to have a large effect on the other populations in an ecosystem. Do you agree or disagree with this claim? Below, circle the response that most closely matches your understanding of how populations respond to change. 1. I agree with this claim. Small changes in an ecosystem are unlikely to affect other populations. B. My knowledge supports this claim. Small changes in an ecosystem can affect other populations, but only in small ways. C. I disagree with this claim. Small changes in an ecosystem can have large effects on another population, but only if the population is directly affected by the change. D. I disagree with this claim. Small changes in an ecosystem can have large effects on many populations throughout an ecosystem. Now, use information you know or have learned to provide at least one example that supports your choice above. Number 6. Some ants form relationships with another type of insect called an aphid. In this relationship, the aphids make food that is eaten by the ants. The ants protect the aphids from being eaten by predators. Which term correctly describes the type of relationship formed by ants and aphids? A. Predation, B. Competition, C. Mutualism, or D. Carnivorous? On the next page there is a table, and you'll be creating a graph. It says below is the table that contains population data for an organism that can be found in many Michigan ecosystems, the white-tailed deer. The years are 2000 to 2006, which is on the left-hand side of the table. On the right-hand side of the table is the average deer per square mile. You're going to use that information to create the graph. They've already put the year, which is on the bottom, between 2000 and 2006 for you. You're going to have to label the left-hand side average deer per square mile, and you can also give it a title. Now you're going to graph those points. You're going to find the year 2000 and go up to 21.5 and put a dot there, and so on. After you've completed the graph, use the graph to answer the following questions. 7. In the space provided above, graph the population data. Numbers have been placed on the axis to help you get started, but please be sure to label the y-axis and provide a title or caption for your figure. A. What is the overall pattern in deer population size that you observe? B. Another organism, such as an elk, may have a competitive relationship with deer. 1. Predict the effect on elk population size you would expect to observe during this same time period. If elk compete with deer in an ecosystem, based on your prediction only on patterns in deer population size. 2. Explain why you think this effect would occur. Next page. A rare butterfly was recently found in a park near your school. The population of plants that the caterpillars, or butterfly larvae, feed on has been reduced by mowing, feeding deer, and invasive plants. This has caused a decrease in the butterfly population. Your community is considering several possible solutions to protect the butterfly. They are A. Stop mowing the area. B. Build a fence to keep out deer. C. Use a chemical spray to remove invasive plants. Or D. All of the above. So you want to look at the matrix. You're going to look at the criteria and the constraints. And you also want to look at A. The options. Stop mowing. B. Deer fence. C. Chemical spray for invasives. Or D. All strategies combined. You also want to look at the budget and is it safe for native plants. You're going to use this matrix to answer the following questions. Above, a decision matrix of criteria and constraints has been created by the community to help decide which is the best solution. A maximum budget of $10,000 has been set for this project. That means they cannot spend more than $10,000. And local law states that the proposed solution must be safe for native plants. A, what is the problem that the community hopes to solve? B, based on the provided information, which solution or solutions would not be acceptable to the community? C, if the community feels that the criteria of human safety is most important, which of the remaining or not crossed out solution or solutions should they choose? D, if the community feels that the criteria of fast working is most important, which of the remaining or not crossed out solution or solutions should they choose? E, if each of the criteria are considered equally important, which one solution best meets all the criteria and constraints defined by the community? Next page. On the island of Daphne Major in the Galapagos Islands, there are several species of ground finches. These finches mostly eat seeds. So there are 3 graphs. Figure 1 is rainfall, Figure 2 is seeds, and Figure 3 is number of finches on Daphne Major. Use this information to answer the following questions. 9. The graphs above show annual rainfall, Figure 1, the amount of seeds, Figure 2, and the number of finches, Figure 3, on the islands in 1976 and 1977. A. Using the graph, describe the overall pattern during this period in 1. Rainfall, 2. Amounts of seeds, 3. Number of finches. So for 1, you're just going to look at the rainfall graph and describe the pattern. For 2, you're going to look at the amounts of seeds graph and describe the pattern. And 3, you're going to look at the number of finches and describe the pattern. B. Choose the claim that you think best provides the best and most complete explanation for the changes observed in the 3 graphs above. Then complete your scientific explanation by supporting your claim with the evidence and reasoning. 1. The amount of seeds declined because the finches ate them. 2. The number of finches declined because there were fewer seeds to eat. 3. Lower rainfall caused the amount of seeds to decline but did not affect the finch population. Or 4. Lower rainfall caused both the amount of seeds and the finch population to decline. C. You're going to provide evidence, provide data that can be used to support your claim. And D. Reasoning. Use scientific concepts to describe how the evidence supports your claim. Remember, you can go back and listen to any part of this video to help you if you need to. Have a great weekend. Bye.